Welcome back, everyone. Today we have both Brad and I here on the podcast. We're going to be talking about the NBA playoffs. I know it's a couple days late, but still early enough that we can make predictions on the rounds ahead and the current rounds. And Brad and I will be going through all 8 matchups in the East and West Conference, and we'll just be talking about who we think will win. We did this last year. Brad ended up being pretty good with his predictions. He got the Heat right in the finals, I remember.
I had Heat Lakers in 5.
So he had a pretty good hold on what was going on there. But we'll see if he has as good a time this time. And let's go. Let's start with the West, Brad.
All right, I'll go first. I will start at the bottom, make it interesting. Of course, the Suns won Game 1. Chris Paul battled through an injury. Anthony Davis, I don't even need to say anything more. Anthony Davis is absolute trash. I'm just kidding. Anthony Davis is a great player, but didn't have a good game. I do think that I don't know. This is so tough. The Suns winning Game 1 definitely says something to me, but what I saw in that playing game from LeBron, and I know LeBron is not going to lose first round to the Phoenix Suns. The Suns, sadly, will be beaten in 7 in a very entertaining first-round matchup. Lakers will move on.
Yeah, this is the best matchup of the first round, in my opinion. Most intriguing.
Yeah.
The Lakers as a 7 seed's crazy, but the injuries were terrible this year. The Suns are not a fluke. Chris Paul is a great leader, and Devin Booker, of course, is one of the best players in the NBA. But I do believe the Lakers, even though they lost today, I will say they lost today. I didn't pay much attention to that game. I was watching some golf, but I know that they did lose pretty handily to the Suns today, and I think it'll be a close series. I got the Lakers, though, in 7.
Nuggets, Blazers. Decent series as well. I do like the Nuggets to move on, though. Jokic is just such a beast. Losing Jamal Murray was definitely a big loss. Or was it Gary Harris?
Jamal.
I don't know why I myself. But the Blazers took Game 1, so that makes things interesting. But I believe Jokic had something like 34 and 16 or something. I think I said that right. Incredible.
He had a great offensive game. I will say the Blazers' strategy was to let him work one-on-one, avoid allowing him to kick to shooters. I think it's a winning strategy because Jokic is best when he's facilitating. He's the best passing big man of all time, according to a lot of people. I do believe in this series, though, without Jamal Murray, I got the Blazers. I'll explain. I think the Nuggets in the playoffs need a guy like Jamal Murray to take over in the crunch time. Big-time guards are huge in the playoffs. Jokic, he's an outstanding player. He's going to be the MVP this year, most likely. But I have the Blazers just because of their guard play. Without Jamal Murray, I don't think the Nuggets can win this series. I have the Blazers in 6.
I have the Nuggets in 7. It's going to be close, but I do think the Nuggets prevail. And I think the Lakers take care of business and get to the Western Conference chip. Lakers, Clippers.
Mavs, Clippers.
The Mavericks won Game 1 by 10 points. Doncic had a triple-double. Played a phenomenal game.
Absolutely amazing.
This is so hard. The playoffs are incredible this year. This is hard for me to say, but I actually think the Mavericks are going to come away with this series. The Clippers' vibes just haven't been there. You expected a high-profile, high-scoring team, and I just haven't seen that this year. I'm going to go with the Mavs. I think they can slow it down, and when it goes deeper into the playoffs, even just the first round of the series, people get tired. I think the Mavericks are better conditioned and more in shape to win a grueling series, 6-7 game series.
Look, those are good points you brought up there. I will go the opposite direction here. I'm going to stick with the Clippers, even though the first game was not the best. They couldn't slow down Luka Doncic, and that's going to be a problem. You'd think, though, that the Clippers would figure that out because they are a strong defensive team, especially with elite length at the perimeter. I still like them in this series because their veteran leadership. Ty Lue's a good coach as well. I can't believe they're just going to lose another series. The Clippers have just lost so many. It's possible. I'm still going to roll with them. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, playoff Rajon Rondo. Hopefully they get it done. Not hopefully. I'm actually rooting for the Mavs, but I do believe the Clippers will get this one done in 6 or 7.
Ben and I disagreeing a lot.
That's true. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just predicting a different outcome. I think your outcome could easily happen.
Game 1. or the top game on your screen at least. This
It's
is
a
interesting.
little hard to see. The Jazz are the
I
top
would have
team.
thought the Jazz would obliterate the Grizzlies, but what I saw from the Grizzlies was impressive. Ja Morant took over. They're a decent team. Them being an 8 seed is absolutely crazy. They would, in my opinion, they're probably the fourth best team if they're on the Eastern Conference. But going back to the Grizzlies, I don't think they're going to win this. They play tonight. This is the one game that is not even started. I'm going Jazz. They're a really hot team. I think they could win it all. They're definitely one of the favorites. Just all around great team. Mike Conley's playing big time. Same with Rudy Gobert. I'm really liking the Jazz this year.
I have to agree with you. The Jazz are the 16th best team of all time, according to a metric I saw on 538.com, the analytics website.
Yeah.
And they're just a team that's been rolling. I do feel as a 1 seed, they remind me a little of the Atlanta Hawks a couple years ago. Don't know.
Yeah.
That's a team that won 60 games, was really dominant in the regular season, had a bunch of all-stars. Jazz are like that. I don't know if Donovan's going to step up in the playoffs. He needs to if they're going to win this title, because they do need that alpha dog.
They've gotten those comparisons, I'll tell you that.
I know, and that's a team I see. I still think they easily take care of business this first round. I will say the Grizzlies are a good 8 seed. I don't think they're the fourth best team in the East. I do think they're a good 8 seed. I think the Warriors would have been a better matchup against the Jazz. But Ja Morant has to play well if this is even a series. I'm going to go Jazz in 5.
All right, we move on to the East really quickly. Sorry, I've been extremely busy today. I'm going to go through my 4 games, microwave my food real quick, and come right back up.
I'll talk while you do it.
Really quickly, though, I would like to say, out of the Eastern Conference, I'll just say all my 4 picks, I guess, changing it up. Sixers by a lot. I don't think that will be a very contested series. This is interesting when I'm going to go Knicks. I like just a super hyped franchise right now. Just a lot of role players stepping into bigger roles. I think Julius Randle is really going to show out and live up to the hype he's getting. This is probably the best game, at least on the Eastern Conference. I'm going Bucks. They're salty from what happened last year. And I just think Giannis is going to take it to another level this postseason, even though he might have had a little bit of a more down year. And then in the final game, I'm going Nets. Celtics, they've never been able to get up that jump, and I don't think they'll take it here in the postseason. All
right, go microwave your food. I'll take over for my picks while Brad does that. I got 76ers in round 1 against the Wizards. I will say, don't sleep on this Wizards team. Red hot entering the playoffs. Red hot. Both Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal are playing exceptional basketball right now. That's a scary 8 seed in my opinion. I do believe that the 76ers just have too much depth at the wing position with Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Dwight Howard backing up Embiid. That's tough, especially with the Wizards' gap at center. But I do see this series actually being not a 4-game sweep for the Sixers. I'll say 5 or 6 game win for the Sixers. Game 1 was today. It was actually a relatively close game. I could have gone either way. Went to the Sixers by 7, but with Westbrook and Beal, I wouldn't be shocked if the Wizards make this a series. Now, next round, Knicks, Hawks. 2 teams that I'd say overachieved this year. Not in a bad way, just maybe a little earlier than people expected them to be playing this well. But nonetheless, good for them. I do have the Knicks here. Tom Thibodeau is my coach of the year. Don't know why he didn't have a job for a couple years. Clearly is a very good coach. Gets a lot out of his teams. He's facilitated this amazing improvement out of both out of RJ Barrett and Julius Randle. Sorry, I forgot Julius Randle's name for a second. RJ Barrett, obviously the second-year player out of Duke, who's had a great season so far. And one thing about Thibodeau, he loves playing his guys big minutes. So they should be very used to the playoff usage that they will receive in this series and possibly beyond. I have Knicks in 6 in this one. Bucks, Heat. This is going to be tough. Best series in the East, in my opinion. The Heat are also really hot entering the playoffs. They had a really tough start to the year. They were at one point 8-15, but they're starting to cook. Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo both had tough games in the first game of the series. The Bucks took that one. I actually have the Heat here. Jimmy Butler and Adebayo played terribly, and they still should have won that game, or at least could have won that game very easily. If Jimmy Buckets plays more like himself, which I think he should, that'll offset the fact that the Bucks are the higher seed, in my opinion. I think this is a 7-game series. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Bucks win, but I have the Heat again, back to back. Now let's
I
go
agree
down.
that it's a 7-game series. I do agree with that.
And Brad's back also. But let's go down to this final one: Nets Celtics. In my opinion, actually the least interesting series. I think the Celtics are a bit stale. I hate to say that. I think Brad Stevens is a great coach, but he's just not getting it done there for some reason. I'd love to see them make an effort here. I think the Nets are my least favorite team just based on what they've assembled. It's not their fault, but they're a super team. I do have the Nets winning this one in 5.
All right. Let's start in the West, top left. Second round matchups, we both have the Jazz. I have the Mavs, you have the Clippers, correct?
Correct.
All right. I'm going Jazz here, regardless. Ben made a very good point, a really good point, about the Atlanta Hawks resemblance between the two teams, but screw that. I'm really liking the Jazz this year. The Hawks did also at the end of their season, they really slowed down.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going into the All-Star break, by far the best team in the league, I thought, and then they slowed it down, and they probably went only 50 to 55%. I might be completely wrong, but I believe something like that happened. And the Jazz have kept their pace the whole time. Not like a 71-11 season or a 72-10 or a 73-9. No, not that. But they've been really solid. And then bottom left, I think I might have already said this, but I'm going the Lakers. I think the Lakers make it, and I think they lose to the Jazz, and a little bit of a plot twist. But yeah, I think they beat the Nuggets. And Ben, I think, had the Blazers.
I had the Blazers. So we had very different brackets in the West. I'm actually gonna in the matchup down low. I have the Lakers beating the Blazers. Sorry, what am I saying? The Blazers, just like you did. In the top matchup, this is a tough series because I believe the Jazz have been the better team all year. It's hard for me to know how the playoffs will play out. You'd think the Clippers would have the upper hand in that series based on personnel. I'm going to go Jazz, maybe against my gut, just almost in optimism because I'm cheering for this team. I think they've got a good thing going. They've got 2 awesome 6th Men of the Year candidates, Joe Ingles and Jordan Clarkson.
They remind me of the Tampa Bay Rays. And the Tampa Bay Rays just made it to the Game 7 of the World Series against the Dodgers. Excuse me.
I'll take the Jazz in that one as well. I'll take the Jazz in that one. So Lakers, Jazz for both of us in that West Conference final. And let's go to the East real quick because I can't even quite remember. You had Sixers and Knicks. We both did.
I had Sixers, Knicks. Yes, I'm going Sixers. I think they get it done in 4 or 5. I do not think they win the Eastern Conference though.
Yeah, I do think the Knicks and the Hawks are pretty weak 4 and 5s. I think the Heat are a better team than both of those two, but nonetheless, I also have the Sixers taking care of business in, I'll say 5 games. The Knicks will pick off 1, but I do believe the Sixers are a better team.
I'll say this. If the Sixers series goes to 6 or 7 games and is very contested, and the Knicks or the Hawks series goes to 4, maybe 5, I wouldn't be shocked if whoever comes out of that Knicks-Hawks game wins it. The playoffs is crazy. And a lot of things happen. Unexpected things happen. Let's go bottom right, Bucks Nets. One hell of a series, but I'm going with the Bucks. Like I've said, this is Giannis's year.
Wow. I got the Heat. I had the Heat beating the Bucks in a bit of an upset, although not too much of one. And then running into the buzzsaw that is this Brooklyn Nets team. We saw it yesterday. Even though they played pretty poorly throughout the majority of that game, they just turned it on in the 4th quarter, and there was nothing the Celtics could do to stop them. They play like that all postseason. They're my favorite to win the NBA title, but I will, for now, say they're winning that matchup against the Heat. The Heat, though, will take a couple games. They're a feisty squad. Eric Spoelstra's a great coach. I got Nets in 6. And so Brad, wait, you got okay.
I'll
Brad's
go.
final.
Yeah, my fault. All right, Jazz Lakers. This is hard, but I'm taking the Jazz, dude. I'm just rolling with the Jazz. For whatever reason, there's just something about this team. LeBron's going to be beat up after a long series against the Suns or a long series against the Nuggets and Blazers or Blazers, excuse me. It's going to take a toll. Anthony Davis, as we just saw, is just not clutch. We'll see.
All right, I'm gonna end this Jazz dream season here. Honestly, the West is so wide open that this pick could be so stupid, but I have the Lakers in the finals. The Lakers could lose first round and my pick would look like just stupid, but I can't bet against LeBron James and Anthony
Has
Davis.
there ever been a 7 seed in the championship? That's my question.
I mean, has there ever been as scary a 7 seed? I don't think so.
No.
But I think the Jazz put up a good fight. This is a great series if it comes to fruition. I would root for the Jazz, but I don't think that they get it done. And I have Lakers in 6 or 7 there. So East, I'll just go and Brad will go after. I got Sixers against the Nets. I already said what I thought would happen here. The Brooklyn Nets with KD, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving, as well as just an underrated depth behind them.
Yes, I agree with that.
That is their depth. Bruce Brown, Joe Harris, Claxton. They got a lot going on behind there, and those guys will shine in a couple games if the big three isn't playing well, and that's what you need in the playoffs. But
absolutely, a championship bench is so very important. And I also like to note the lowest seed to ever win an NBA championship, 6 seed Houston Rockets,
94, 95.
I believe 94.
Okay, yeah, that was a good 6 seed, Hakeem the Dream, but I think the Lakers are even stronger maybe than that team was as a 7 seed with LeBron and AD. So, Brad, who's your Eastern Conference finalist?
My Eastern Conference finalist.
Or not winner. Sorry, winner.
No, finalist is fine because finalist
yeah.
championship. I got the Sixers and I got the Bucks, and I'm going with the Bucks. The Sixers will be so very close. 6 or 7 games, but they won't get it done. Giannis is going to win it all.
Okay. All right. Well, he just said what he thinks is going to happen. But let's go to our final. This is the Lakers and Nets. If that happened, the ratings would be through the roof. LeBron against KD, AD against your pick of every. I mean, I guess I don't even know who would guard AD. That's actually a good question if that series were to happen. But I don't know, man. I have the Nets winning, and it's not what I want to do. But I can't get over this feeling that this is like the death machine. Like the Death Star of the NBA this year, just assembling like a robotically amazing team. I don't know how the Lakers are going to beat them, but I got the Nets in 7 or in 6 or 7.
I don't know how the NBA is so equal and so talented. I just think the overall NBA is so much better than it was in the 90s.
I agree.
So much talent. The Bulls, who are a very respectable team, good talent, couldn't even make the playing game. 2
All-Stars on that team.
Crazy.
The Wizards also, I don't know if you were here. I was saying the Wizards as an 8 seed, people are overlooking that team. They have Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal on that team. That's some crazy talent for an 8 seed that no one is talking about at all.
It is. Ben's right. All right. I think that's going to wrap it up for us. Thank you guys for watching. Wait, have you done your championship?
I just said I got Brooklyn in 7 in the finals against the Lakers.
And I said Bucks.
You have the Bucks.
In 7 too. Bucks in 7 against.
If Giannis does that, honestly, respect, but we'll see.
I'm waiting for you, Giannis. All right, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. 205 subscribers, big deal. We appreciate all of you guys. Super easy, just takes 1 click. Ben and I will be back with another podcast hopefully soon. Maybe talking about the PGA Championship that just transpired a few hours.
That was one of the greatest viewing experiences I've had in a while, I will say. Watching what transpired there.
Maybe some second, third, and championship predictions after the first round concludes in a few days. Trying to think what else. Maybe a little Cubs update, MLB update. I don't know. We'll see. We'll do something, but thank you guys for watching. That is the video.